Hello again and welcome to lesson 21. In the previous two lessons we talked about how to select a niche market and how to determine whether there's money to be made in it. Today we're going to refine your topic to make sure you're zooming in on the desires of your niche audience. If you fail to do this, your product runs the risk of missing the target, not making any money and becoming a failure. So I'm going to just take an example of a smartphone. It's a big niche, but will people pay for an info product about a smartphone? A good place to go to see what people want information on is Yahoo Answers. It's not as powerful as it used to be, but it's still a good source of information. So I'm going to just run through a couple of checks we can do on a niche, for example, like smartphone. If you thought maybe smartphone is where you're going to go, to Yahoo Answers and we type in a smartphone, if I can spell, straight away you see they've got a couple of ads in here that are AdWords. We've got what is a smartphone, the difference between smartphones, any good smartphones, any good AT&T smartphones, what's the best non-smartphone, upgrading to smartphone, what is a smartphone, what is the definition of a smartphone, buying a Verizon smartphone. At one time Yahoo Answers used to show how many questions they'd got on a subject, and they used to also put in information about how long ago the question was put up there, but they seem to have decided not to do that. There's some more sponsored ads at the bottom. Down at the bottom, which is off your screen, 103,588 results. So there are a lot of people asking questions about smartphones, but the sort of questions they're asking, would it lead to an information product? Let's just have a look at the next page and see what that brings up. What makes a smartphone better than a computer? Which is the best smartphone? Best Verizon smartphone? All these are leading to sort of product review sites type thing rather than information products. You want questions that come up like, how do I, and this sort of thing. How can I correct this? This is giving me a problem. How do I get out of it? And we're not getting that sort of thing here. So while there's a great deal of interest in smartphones, everything about smartphones, I don't know whether that might be a post that is leading towards. So there's that, but we could also go to Clickbank Marketplace, for example, and if we type in smartphone there, let's see what we get. 225 results, but just looking down, they're not very exciting. The gravities are so very low, and most of them really don't seem to be about smartphones anyway. Trick photography with your iPhone. What's the gravity on that? 2.17. That's one of the highest on the page, I think. But iPhone, maybe if we put in iPhone, let's see what we've got there. iPhone video lessons. That's an information product. That is an information product. Making credible videos with your iPhone. That's a sort of tutorial information product. What are the gravities on these? 5.28, pretty low. 4.11. The family internet filter for iPhone and iPad. That is a software product, I suppose. It's blocking something. I suppose that's what it's classified as. 5 ways to record podcast interviews with an iPhone. That could be classed as an information product, but it's more like a sort of cheat sheet. I don't know what they're charging for that, but that's something that you would perhaps give away to build your list, and then you'd monetize it perhaps with accessories or review sites, review of new products, this sort of thing. How to create an iPhone app, that isn't really what. Mind you, the gravity on that is getting bigger, so that's of interest. It's not the market that we're looking at when we're looking at smartphones, iPhones. On video lesson, let's just have a look at this. Selling it for 60. So he's not sold masses of them. Is it because his site's no good? Actually, his site looks okay, and let's shut him up a minute. There's been quite a lot of money spent on that video, unless he's able to do that himself, but it sounds like a professional voiceover, and it looks like a professionally created rather than one of these Splendios or Simple Video Pro videos. So he spent quite a bit of money on it, and the site looks okay. And actually, he's got what I think is pretty good, and that is he's addressing a problem, because it says here, you know, Manuel, your parents and grandparents are now getting iPhones with no clue how to use them. So maybe he's not targeting that audience well enough, because I would think there's a lot of people out there, particularly my age, and even younger than, well, most people are younger than me nowadays, but sort of getting into the maybe 50s, 60s, 70s, like me, that would perhaps buy an iPhone if they had a manual with it. I mean, I like manuals, and you don't get manuals with any of these new products. You're just expected to know how it works and flick your fingers over screens, which kids and things are good at, but people of my generation aren't so good at. They like to say, okay, this is what you do, you push this button. I mean, there's not even any buttons on an iPhone. So I would think he's targeted that at the right age group, with his video also looks to be, but maybe his advertising isn't targeting that particular group, because you want to be targeting, if you're selling that, like 50 years and over, that have iPhones, and I would think you would make sales with something like that, and it doesn't look like he's making that with 0.28. So possibly not smartphones but iPhones, and there is a scope for an information product there. You're in competition with somebody who looks like he's pretty good, but there is scope there. What else can we look at? Marketers post articles on here, so if we were to look for smartphone and see what they're doing. Are you smart enough for a smartphone? Smartphones, are they really a smart decision? Smartphones improvement, smartphone comparison, talk, why you should compare, do I really need? These are sort of looking to sell the product. You can see from the titles, these are all to do with that sort of thing. Let's just put in, what was it we were searching before? iPhones, wasn't it? I mean, this iPhones is a massive market. Apple are the richest company in the world, and I think they've sold 300 million iPhones. Maybe I'll buy that course I saw earlier first. How to build an iPhone app, iPhone market. See, there's that how to build an iPhone app again. Ways to back up iPhone to a computer. They're not really answering any pain. The only one I've seen that really is addressing pain is older people that don't have a manual and don't know how to work an iPhone. They know that it's supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but they don't know how to use it. So although iPhone is a big niche and people spend a lot of money on iPhones, I know they cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars, are they prepared to pay for an information product? And that's really what you've got to ask yourself. Is it something that people will pay for? And I think possibly at that older age group it may be, because I've talked about this previously, and I've talked about the pleasure or pain. People will pay if they can avoid pain, or if they can gain pleasure. Those are the two things that people are prepared to spend their money on. And maybe people would get the pleasure of using an iPhone and avoid the pain of not knowing how to use it, the older generations. So there might be a target market there, but I think you need to precisely target that market. And you've got to understand that there are some niches in which people are simply not going to pay for information, and in general I think smartphones and iPhones is probably one. They'll go to free review sites to see which phone they should buy. They will perhaps, if they've got a specific problem, although I didn't see people coming up with how do I do this, and that's really what you should be looking for, you know, people asking how do I do this, how do I do that, and I've not seen any of that. So maybe the older generation get the kids to show them how to work their iPhones. So I say most successful info products, they're focused on a problem solution, something that'll ease pain or fuel pleasure. And if you find that you've got a big niche that in general people aren't looking to buy information on it, then I suggest you do one of two things. You either find a different niche, or you think laterally and figure out a different way to monetize it. And examples there are, of course, things like review sites, and give some information away free to build a list and then monetize the back end through physical products or affiliate sales, this sort of thing. But the best way to find out what your niche wants is to ask them. And the easiest way of doing that is to conduct a survey. There'll be a lot of marketers out there, and you may have seen this in trainings, that say, survey your list, do a survey. And if you've got a list of subscribers in your niche, in the niche that you've already planned, and you've already got a list of subscribers, then that's great, because then you can survey them. And there are various ways that you can conduct that survey. You can simply ask questions in an email. Say, what about this? What do you think of this? And you get answers back. Of course, a better way is to put a survey on your website, or you can have a third-party hosted survey where you send people either to your website or to wherever the survey is hosted, and they will answer questions. I've got some links down below this video for ways that you can do that. Most of them are free, some of them are paid. There's one that you will perhaps have seen on one of my sites, which is what's it called, email form or something like that, and that's free, but it's got a paid version as well. Email me form it is, I remember now, emailmeform.com. But it's pretty simple to use, and the free version is pretty good for most applications that you would want, and you can either put that on your website or you can have it hosted by them. There's a very good one called AskCampaign, but I don't think there's a free version of it. They might do a trial version. There's a link for that as well below. But that has the advantage of it'll organize your answers for you, so it's very, very easy to quantify your results. There's one called Instant Form Pro, and I've given an example of that being used for a Twitter survey that was done about 5 or 6 years ago. And the survey's there. Of course, the information from 5 or 6 years ago isn't going to be anything like accurate today, but it'll show you the type of information that you can get and how you can analyze it from Instant Form Pro. And that's a very good one if you're doing in-depth surveys, if you've got people that are going to respond to your survey. But if you don't have a list, there are other ways to conduct a survey. One is to hire somebody to do a survey for you, you know, a market research firm. But that is generally not recommended. It's going to be pretty high cost. I think when I've looked at it, they're starting at around about $5,000. So unless you've got a lot of capital to invest in a project that you feel really confident about, that really is a non-starter. And most of what I teach is geared towards keeping costs very low and ideally free. So a much better way, I think, is to make a deal with somebody that has a list in your niche. You can create a win-win situation, where the list owner benefits from the data being collected or some other mutually beneficial agreement. And you can do this very effectively with Ezines, and the directory of Ezines is a great resource for this, and there's a link for them to the right of this video. They're not free, but it's great. Let me just show you inside there. It's great for a lot of things, not just for conducting surveys. Let me get my, yeah, here we are. If you remember and you log in to, you can see me, welcome Fram, to the directory of Ezines, then this is your home page, and it's got some videos about how to find Ezines using this directory, and it's got a tour and this sort of thing. It's got a quick start guide. The guy that runs this, Charlie, he's been marketing about the same length of time as me, but as you can see from his website, he's better organized than I am. It's a nice learning center. Teaches you about affiliate marketing, article marketing, how to automate your marketing, copywriting, driving traffic, email marketing, Ezine advertising, increasing conversion, list building, all sorts of things. It goes on and on down the page. So there's a lot there. Reward center. There's some free advertising resources. There's members only webinars. He'll write solo ads for you. You tell him your product and give him the page, and he'll write solo ads for you. There's some pre-written classifieds for well-known programs. If you're promoting something that a lot of people have asked for, they're up there. He does that for classified solos, and as I say, he'll actually write things for you. And then there's Ezines, and all different niches, as you can see: advertising, business ops, education, entertainment, family, parenting, food, drink, humour, you name it really. There are Ezines about almost anything, and he's got them grouped into sections, and you can go there. He's in ad co-ops. I don't know what that is. I don't remember seeing that before. It's a good site, and you can find Ezine owners. If you look at something that is bound to have a lot of business opportunities, there's bound to be loads of them. You can see they've got 353, 130,000 circulation, 74,000, 55,000, 60,000. And to get results from a survey, you know, if you've got 100 genuinely fill-in surveys, you'll get some good response. And of course, you can find ways of adding them into your list by offering some sort of incentive, and that they've got to submit their email address, you know, this sort of thing. There's pay-per-click. You could put a survey up and put a pay-per-click. You would almost certainly have to incentivize that in some way, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now that can be very good. If you're paying, let's suppose you're paying 50 cents a click. You can probably get them a bit cheaper, but let's suppose you're paying 50 cents a click and you want 100 results, and 50% of the people that click are completing the survey. If your advert's good, you should get at least 50% completing, because you will have in your advert complete the survey to do this or get this or find out this or whatever it is, so that the people that are clicking know that they're going to have to complete a survey. So you should be able to get 50%. So that's costing you $1 per survey, and if you want 100 results, 100 surveys, $100, might sound like a lot of money, but it's relatively inexpensive market research for you. I'm going to be doing more on pay-per-click and on free traffic as well, in particular, as we go through the course. We're not really at the traffic stage yet, but we're still putting together our products. But you can use forums. Forums are a great source of things. You'll always, as I say, find forums about any niche at all, and social networks, of course. And I say, there are ways offline in addition to online. Don't neglect offline. If you've no list, you can talk to people, your neighbours. Walk up and down your street, ask people if they'd mind filling in this form for you, knock on the doors. Do what a market research company would do, and go out and stand in the high street and then say to people, would you mind completing a very short survey on this? Whatever it is you do, you need to do it to get your information. And as I said, incentives are going to help you get the thing filled out, but you need to make sure your incentive is targeted at the right audience. If you are, let's suppose you wanted new parents, new mothers or something like that. Maybe you're selling a product to an exercise thing for ladies that have just given birth to children, and you were saying fill in this survey and win an iPad. You know, you might get a lot of 11-year-old kids filling in the survey. You need to target the incentive at the audience that you're looking for. You can actually find CPA offers perhaps that would suit you. You know, there might be a CPA offer for giving away diapers or something like that, or low cost or coupons on diapers. Fill in this survey to get a year's supply of diapers free, or whatever the CPA offer is, you know. And they can fill your survey in before they fill in the survey to get the diapers. Your survey, what do you need to ask? You need to dig as deep as you can, but you don't want so many questions that it puts the people off answering them. Not so bad if it's somebody you know, with family members that are helping you out, you know, a general thing, or good friends, and they'll fill in a bit more, you know, but you still don't want 10 pages. You want to keep it pretty short, and you want to ask for what you're looking for, and that is problems. Because if you've got a problem, then you can find a solution, and then you put those two together and you've got a sale. Bang. So ask them, what's your biggest problem regarding training your dog? How difficult is it for you to find an answer to that? What would you most like to learn about getting rid of your spotty face? How much would you be prepared to pay for a solution to your back pain, or your gout, or how to catch more fish, or whatever it is, you know? Ask leading questions. It makes it harder to analyze the answers, but the answers are more valuable. You want to know the problems that they're having. Make sure that you ask the right question. Be sure to include at least one or two open-ended questions like these. And multiple choice are a lot easier to analyze. You know, how difficult is it for you to find the answer to that problem? Very difficult, not difficult at all, don't know. That's easier to analyze than what is your biggest problem regarding learning to drive your car. But you don't want too many of the open-ended questions, because you can get very long-winded answers, but they can be very, very useful for you. So dig as deep as you can. As I say, you want maybe around 8 questions as a good target. If they're easy to answer, you can increase it a little bit. Make sure they fit on one page. If people get 2 pages, 3 pages, you know, if they see that there's more than one page, it's going to put them off before they start. I recommend that you do a survey, but if you say, oh, I'm not going to do a survey, I mean, it's your business, it's your choice, but you can go and sort of get some sort of results from places like Yahoo Answers, but you want to be looking for problems that people are having. So you need to be looking for questions like, can someone tell me how to fix, improve, or avoid such and such a thing? Is there a better, cheaper, or faster way to do something? I need help with something. You need to be looking for that kind of question. The answers don't matter. Quite often the answers are rubbish anyway. And you can check out forums and see what people are asking in forums. As I say, forums is a great way, and I've put a link down below for boardtracker.com, which is a great resource. But I went to the site today and I see that they're revamping it. You may or may not have access to their site. It says it'll be back online soon. How soon is soon? I don't know. I'm not sure how long it's been down. I've not been to the site for some time. As I say, I've not been really doing any marketing for a while. But it is a good resource, so you can bookmark it and check back. And look for problems related to your niche that people are discussing on the forums. As I say, you can't find them through Board Tracker at the moment, but you can always type in your niche, whatever it may be. How to ride elephants forum, how to ride elephants newsletters, this sort of thing, and you'll find plenty of stuff there. And when you get there, look for problems. As I say, look for this type of question. Once again, in ezenearticles.com, where we were earlier on, network marketers post a lot of stuff in there. If you put in how to do this or whatever, you'll perhaps come up with some articles and you'll find some of the types of questions that people are asking. But it's better to do your own survey. But Ezines Articles is the biggest article submission site. It'll show you what's being done by other internet marketers to provide information in your niche, and it'll have pretty much all your audience's most burning questions being answered there for free in these articles. You can always look at the author bio boxes to see how they're attempting to monetize the articles. Are they offering an info product, or are they doing something else? And you'll find that the more competitive the niche, the more important it is for you to have a strong USP. What's a USP? It's a unique selling point or a unique selling proposition. There are ways to break into a market without a USP, but they are not for the likes of us normally. It's major corporations who can bully their way in with special deals and massive budgets and this sort of thing. What you need to set yourself apart from the crowd. You do that by having a unique selling proposition. You have to find a way of being different. For example, that guy in the iPhones thing, everybody else is doing reviews and selling iPhones and this sort of thing, and he's targeted a sort of micro niche in there, which is the older people that want an iPhone, but they want something with a manual. They want to know how to work it. So he's found that little niche and he's doing something a bit different. He's not doing it as well as he'd hoped, perhaps because of his gravity. If he was doing it better, he'd have gravities 25, 30, 35 and up. Commonly, the gurus will tell you not to promote anything that's not got a gravity of 100. I don't always go along with that. I've found some products that have gravities, as low as 5 or 7, and they're great products. And if you can find your unique way of selling those products, you can make a killing with them. And you might be able to make a killing promoting something like that iPhone product as an affiliate, if you find a unique selling point for it. So what are your action steps today? I want you to survey your market and or research the market in detail to find out exactly what people are looking for. What is causing them pain? What are they wanting to, what are they drawn towards from a pleasure point of view, and what are they trying to avoid as a pain point of view? You need answers to those questions, because if you haven't got those questions and you can't answer those questions, you're not going to make a sale. And it's no good creating a product without those questions and the answers to those questions. So you want to decide what the focus of your topic is going to be, and you can't do that until you know the questions, the things that are causing people the pain. And then when you've done that, you want to come up with a unique selling proposition for your product. You want to think, how can I be unique? You want to start thinking outside the box. What can I do that's different? Because if you're following the crowd, if you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to get the results that everybody else is getting. And with 97% failing, you don't want to be there swimming with them. You want to be swimming the other way. It might be harder swimming upstream against the current and all the rest of it, but that's where the money is. So that's what you need to be doing. And once you've narrowed down your topic, well, let me tell you first of all, before we get on to that, I'm going to give you fair warning that this is where a lot of new marketers miss the boat. Because if you end up with a product that nobody wants to buy, more than likely you're going to be able to trace it back to this lesson, and you'll see that you didn't dig deep enough into your markets to find out what they really want to pay for. And I know that can be a challenge. It's something that people don't want to do. You don't want to do this research. You don't want to do all the dirty work. You don't want to do all this digging around and finding things and talking to people and getting all these questions and trying to find the pain points, because it takes time and it's repetitive, and it's just something that you will want to avoid. But if you don't do it, you're going to struggle. Fair warning? Okay. So as I say, once you've narrowed that down, you've got your topic and you've got your USP, it'll be time to envision your product and come up with a great brand name. And I'm going to be talking about that in the next lesson. As always, you're welcome to post your questions and comments below. Have a great day, stay blessed, and I'll see you soon.